This video is going to be all about what worked for me this year, what didn't work for me, and what I'm planning on changing in 2025. So, hello, my name is Genesis. I run Lucky Star Co. I run a handmade candle business and soon to be a lot of other things that I'll talk about in this video. So, I'm really excited. Couple things, if you've watched my videos previously, I now have green hair. Wow. Love the change. It goes into one of my goals going into 2025. I don't like to create the whole New Year's resolutions. I would rather create goals, and I like to create them beforehand so it doesn't feel like I'm pressured to start day one. I start even before. But to talk about my business, I'm going to be unpackaging some products that I got the other day as I'm talking about my plan. I have it written down in my notebook. So first of all, we're going to talk about what was not working for me and what I'm going to be doing differently. Okay, so the first product I'm going to show you are these. I'll show you a little bit more close up, but these are labels because I'm going to be prototyping scents, and I make 2 candles every time, one for me and then one to either give away, or if I really like the scent then and I want to put it in a collection like in the future, or I want to be able to sell it or something, then I'm going to put one of these labels on it and then write the name and then write the scent notes, because it's the exact same thing as all of my other labels. You know, it has all the same information, but this just shows that I can write on it, and then it has a little bit different decoration, because the ones that I normally do, I put little pictures like on the side to kind of represent what like the scent kind of reminds me of, or what it feels like to me. So just to give you an example of that, this is on the Kamehameha Highway, which is a very coastal, like clean scent. It has notes of citrus, sea salt, jasmine, and cedar. And so I have jasmine right here. I have those citrus notes. And then over here, I have the ocean wave, and those are supposed to be like sea salt rocks in there. So as you can see, like I have little pictures on there to kind of give you, like when you look at it, even before you read all of it, which I've talked about this in a previous video, changed up my labels so that the text is bigger. But before you read any of it, you're like, oh, ocean, citrus, flower, okay. Like you get kind of the set notes while you're looking at it. I like that. I'm a very visual person, so I'd much rather have pictures rather than text. Anyways, so I'm gonna be cutting these up. So social media has been like a really big thing for me. I have been trying very, very hard to get a lot better at it, and I just can't figure out what I'm doing right, honestly, and then what I'm doing wrong. Because I have been running my business since 2023, and in that first year that I ran the business, I had a bunch of people from my own personal Instagram come over and follow me. And since then, I've barely had any followers. Like in the past year alone, I think I've had 6 people follow me, and that's about it. And so I have 56 followers, which, you know, follower count shouldn't be like a big thing. Oh, you know, if people are engaging with your posts or you have a lot of views, but the thing is I don't. And a lot of my engagement does come from my followers. And so I just need to research more on social media. Like, what do I need to do to change it up? Because I was thinking this back in like September, like August time. And so I created a social media plan, and then it really didn't work for me. And I think like, that's another thing when you see these things online. Oh, you create a plan, you create a strategy, and then bam, it just works. But the thing is, it doesn't. Not a lot of time. Some of the time it does. But obviously my strategy wasn't what my audience wanted to see. And around that time too, I was seeing a bunch of videos pop up on YouTube, because that's like my main source of getting information about things going on in the world, or just social media trends, because I don't like to be on Instagram, and I'm not on TikTok at all. And so I saw a bunch of creators actually posting videos like, you know, TikTok shop has ruined TikTok, and people are just selling to you on there. Like, it's not about the content anymore. It's not about following creators. It's about selling you something. And the same thing is happening to Instagram and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, my main source of social media is Instagram. Like, if you follow my YouTube, like, yay, good for you. I'm so excited. I love doing YouTube. It's honestly my favorite thing because I am a talker. Normally when like I meet people, I'm really quiet and I'm very shy, which seems to be a very big like personality for business owners who are like, actually, I'm quite shy in person, and I definitely am. But when I'm talking about my business and it just comes out of me and I just talk so much about it. Also, with YouTube, I'm just really comfortable with it because when I was younger, around the age of like 10 or 11 years old, I started YouTube. So I would make videos, at least one video a week for a matter of like 4 or 5 years. And I made videos on a bunch of different things. I think I've talked about this in the past, but I've made videos about a bunch of different things like makeup, or I used to play Minecraft a lot. I used to play The Sims a lot. So I make videos about like makeup and video games and just my everyday life. Like, I'm really comfortable in front of a camera. I could sit here and talk for hours. That's not the point. I need to be able to grow an audience, and I need to figure out how to do that because obviously the way that I'm going about it is not correct. See, here's one of the little labels I'll cut out up close and personal. So yeah, I just really need to do more research, and then from that research, again, develop a strategy, like a different strategy than what I had before, because obviously the one I had before was not working. And then within that, I need to find my core audience because I feel like I haven't. I feel like I've, you know, done the term niched down to the point of like, I'm a crafty girl and I make crafty things that you would love to have in your home and wear on your person. The thing is, I feel like I just haven't reached that audience. And so, and maybe that the audience that I'm thinking of is not even my audience at all. You know what I mean? And so I just need to find who my core audience is, just reevaluate everything that I've thought about my marketing and reevaluate everything I've thought about trying to sell products to people. And the other thing is, like, I want to make it a lot more personal than I have in the past because I don't want to just sell things to people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a person too. Like, I don't like that shit all the time. I don't like just being sold a product and expecting to buy everything. Like, I don't go on social media for that. I go on social media for other things. Sometimes I do go on social media to find small businesses to buy from, but most times I'm going on there for entertainment. So I want to create more entertainment or even like educational content about the things that I'm doing. Like, why soy wax is better than paraffin wax. Why, you know, I made something about ethical crochet. I want to make like a longer form YouTube video about that. I want to do like video essays. Want to change up my content a little bit on YouTube and just show a little bit more of myself. That's why I've been showing some like travel vlogs or just some day in the life. Like, I call them slice of life because I like that anime just like category. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. So I just like to call it my slice of life videos. And then another thing that's definitely not working for me is crochet, which is a shame because I love to crochet, okay? But the thing is, you know, ever since starting my business in 2023, okay, I started out as Genesis Star Studio, so GSS. And I started out only doing crochet, right? I had an Etsy account and everything. I eventually got off of Etsy because I don't like what they've done to the platform. I don't like what they do to their creators. Whole lots of things. I could talk about Etsy in a whole video, but I won't. At least not right now. So I got off the platform and I was only selling crochet things. Now, crochet takes forever sometimes. And it can be really hard to price your products. You're like, I want to sell this at $50 because it took me, and this is like based off of my star muffs, okay? For a plain star muffs, it's $50, right? And how I price that is, so I take at minimum 2 hours to make the star muffs in total. Okay, so I want to pay myself $15 an hour minimum. So there's already $30 on top of that. The materials for all of that, let's just add on an additional $5. So there's $35. Okay, so that is just profit that I just need to essentially give back to myself. I need to pay myself back for my time and for the materials that I put into it. Then be able to pay for another one, to be able to make another set of star muffs and to pay for those materials. So there's another $5. So there's $40. Okay, and so that additional $10 that is then at the very end is so that I can, the time that I do to market it, the time that I take to create photo shoots and do all of that. If I take another $5 just for the time that I do the photo shoots and the marketing, then I have technically, taking all of that stuff out, made $5 off of these star muffs. And when people see the price tag of $50 on one thing, they're like, whoa, 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 you know? Because I feel like and maybe this is just my opinion and the demographic that I've been trying to sell to and the areas that I've been trying to sell to in the state of Indiana, when they see a $50 price tag on something that's handmade and not Lululemon, they go, whoa, 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 no thanks. But something that is $50 from a place like Lululemon or some boutique that bought all of their stuff off of AliExpress, and then the boutique beside them is the exact same thing, they would much rather do that because that is what they're comfortable with. Editing Jen here. So with saying Lululemon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And when somebody goes on there and buys something for $50, they're buying the Lululemon name. That's why people go on Amazon and they get the $20, the $15 dupe because they don't want to pay for the price, but they want the exact same thing. And when something is handmade and they don't know somebody who's taken a chance on you, they haven't heard of you before, they don't know the quality of your products, etc., etc., it's a lot harder for people to commit to buying something for $50 because the thing they think of is, I can just go on Amazon and buy that for cheaper. That's everybody's answer to, it feels like, to anything handmade anymore. It's, I handmade this shirt, pay me $50. I could go on Amazon and find that for cheaper. Okay, do that, but you're not going to get the craftsmanship and the experience and the quality that I've put into it as you do on Amazon. If you're fine with having that type of quality, then why are you shopping at places that only support handmade and small businesses? That's all I'm saying. And the areas that I have sold to in Indiana just in general, is like a cheap state. Like, people want cheap things. I think that in America in general, there are certain cities that in Indiana, like if I were to sell in Carmel, they wouldn't bat an eye at something being $50. My air conditioning is about to turn on. That is horrible timing, but I'm going to keep talking. They wouldn't bat an eye at something at $50 because they expect things to be more expensive. From the area, from the rural area that I'm from, not so much. And I feel like too, this is, again, these are all my personal opinions, but I feel like people who don't crochet or people who don't think crochet is cool do not want to wear crochet at all. They don't want to wear it because they don't see it as higher end. They see it as that's very like handmade, and they don't like that aspect of it. And also because the people that do want to buy my things that I am marketing towards and that do like it, they look at the price tag and go, ooh. But that is like the lowest price that I can charge for something like that. The thing is, the demographic I'm trying to reach cannot afford that. That's like, I mean, for me, that's like a week of like grocery shopping if I'm like shopping on a budget to buy one pair of Star Muffs or groceries. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot. It's a lot to do. It's taxing on my hands, yes. And also physically on my shoulders and just on my entire like arms and upper body in general. It's very taxing because you're like hunched over like this and you're crocheting and you don't realize that you've now caved in your shoulders, because if you crochet like this and you're like trying to look down and you just automatically go into this like position, okay? So I want to get away from crochet because of the time, the end product like cost, and then also the quantity that I'm able to make of each product. Like this year I did 2 designs of Star Muffs, the plain ones, and then I did ones with like a ribbon around the outside of the star with a bow at the end, okay? In short, there are a lot of creators online who do crochet as a business and for a living, telling other people to not do it. Personal-wise, like physically, and also business-wise, it's just not something that is easily scalable. It's not something that, you know, you can get as fast as possible at something, and it can still take you 2 hours. And also, the repetition of crochet, it can become very daunting at times, and I felt this while I was making the last round of Star Muffs, is that I felt like I was just drowning in stars, because each muff, you know, has 2 sides, so it takes 2 stars, so 4 stars per muff, and it was just like, that's all I was doing, was just crocheting these stars over and over and over and over again. And it just got to the point where I was like, I can't do this. This type of repetition is not what I want. And it would take me days on end because of the lack of motivation, but also because the physical doing the same thing over and over and over again to my hands physically hurt me, and I would have to take days on end of rest in between making more star muffs. Candle repetition is a lot different and more relaxing to me than crochet repetition is. I just don't want to sell my crochet to people anymore because it's not scalable, it takes a lot of time, and people don't want to pay the price that it's worth. All in all, I want to move out of doing crochet almost completely, entirely, unless I do one-of-one pieces, or obviously I'm doing it for myself, family, friends, whatever. Okay, moving on to the next product because I just talked for forever. So I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting this for forever. So next thing I'm going to show you is this. I am so excited about this. This is a stamp, obviously. So it's Lucky Star. It's huge. I didn't realize how big this would be. Honestly, I probably should have gotten the medium one, but it is what it is. So it's a self-inking stamp, but it comes out red, and it says Lucky Star on it. So I'm going to try it on this paper, actually. So we're going to flip her over and then put a little stamp on there. That is so exciting. Look at that. And so I've been wanting this because things like bags that I would pack up or boxes that I would ship some of my candles and other stuff away in, I can then stamp this on there, and it's another form of branding. So you love a good branding, girly. But that is very exciting. Let me just feel. Yeah, it's like dry. It's dry. Slay, slay. Okay, back to it. Now I can see it through the paper. Okay, now we're gonna talk about candles. So I did a market in December, right? And I was selling all my crochet stuff, and I was selling candles. Candles was the thing that most people came up and like was picking up things for and looking at and all of that. So and the comments and feedback I got back on that were very interesting and kind of what I expected. Okay, so here are thank you cards I'm gonna unwrap and show you, but I got envelopes for them because I realized I didn't leave a space on here to write someone's name, and so then I can just write somebody's name. I can put the Lucky Star stamp on it, and it's a little bit more personal. And these were free when they come with these like greeting cards. Thank you. Yeah, these are thank you cards, or postcards or whatever they are, but they come free with them. So when I was selling at this market, barely anybody was looking at my crochet stuff. So that's another indicator of crochet. It just needs to go, at least for me. But candles, they were picking them up, right? When they would look at my candles, a lot of people would say that they were too small for the price that they were at. And honestly, before this event, I was kind of thinking that. I was like, based off of this calculator that I use to price to essentially like figure out what I should price my candle at, I was like, this is just a little expensive for me, like $23 for a 6-ounce candle. I was like, you know what? When everybody else is doing around that price for 8 ounces, I have a lot of indigestion right now. But I was like, I just don't really feel as comfortable like selling at that point. And then, oh my gosh, pause for a second. Oh my gosh. These are everything. It's glossy on the front. So this is the thank you. See, it says thank you for your purchase. It has my logo up here. It has some stars and the 4-leaf clover. And then on the back, it doubles as my candle care card. If you want to, you could scan my QR codes. This one leads to my website. This one leads to my link tree. So I can put this in there as candle care. I'm so excited to have these. Because I've been giving out different candle care cards that I printed from a printer. So obviously it's printer paper. But these just look so much more professional and so much nicer. These are everything. I love them. Anyways. And I was kind of thinking that my prices were a little high. Like for me personally, and the thing is too, I have to think of myself as a consumer when I'm trying to sell things. And so when I look at this candle and I see the price tag of $23, I'm like, you know, maybe I would buy it if it's under 20. And so that was my goal, was to try to get this under $20. And so I redid some math. I had recently gotten like more wax and some different fragrances and all this stuff, and I redid the candle calculator, and it said essentially around like $18 that I could sell the candle at. And I was like, I feel so much more comfortable selling the candle at $18 for the size. And I try not to compare myself to other candle creators, because I know somebody would look at this 6-ounce candle, go, no, I would still charge it at $23. I just didn't feel comfortable with that, because I wouldn't even pay that price. And if I wouldn't pay that price on that product, then I'm not going to charge that price. You know, maybe in the future, I'm like, these are like artisan candles. And they're still artisan candles even now. But maybe I feel more inclined to charge more because I'm making more, and now I have to hire help and that kind of thing. But that's way into the future. That's when the candle prices, I feel like, would probably essentially go up, but also I would feel comfortable doing that. As of right now, I don't. I think that $18 for a candle like this, it's a handmade candle. It has a crackling wood wick. It's 100% soy wax. I make sure that all of my fragrances and my soy wax is phthalate and paraben free, so no toxins in it at all. I hand pour all of these in small batches to make it as eco-friendly and sustainable as possible. I use glass jars specifically so that after you're done with your candle, you can rip off this label, clean it off, take out the bottom of like the tab at the bottom, take out that sticky, clean all of this, and be able to reuse this and the lid. And so you can use it for something else. Also, in the future, I really hope that I can do this. This would be like a dream of mine, that people can then, do all that, clean it all out, right? And then send it back to me, and I can refill it with another candle scent at a cheaper price, or they don't have to clean all of that out, right? And it's the same candle that they want. They just send it back to me, and I refill it with the same scent, and they just reuse the same jar over and over and over again. That is my dream. That's what I want, because that's the whole point of the glass, is to be able to reuse it and to be able to easily clean it. So, and that's why I've been thinking, oh, maybe I should change my candle jars. Maybe I should. And then I ultimately think, no, that's my goal. And even if somebody doesn't want to send me their candle back, now they have a jar with a lid and they can use it. Every time I record one of these little editing clips, my heater is going. I stop, I put it into the editor, my heater turns off. It's like against me. But what I didn't say, and is an extremely big point for me, okay, is the jar is glass. I'm looking at a candle right now. The jar is glass. The wick clip, which you can't see because of the sticker, is metal, okay? The lid is also metal. That means everything in this is recyclable. And it makes me feel horrible for having a business, because I know that I am contributing to the waste that humans create in this world. But knowing that I am reducing, reusing, and recycling things that I am able to make makes me feel 100 million times better about having a business. And also knowing that even if, worst case scenario, somebody throws this in the dump, right, and it goes to a landfill, it will all biodegrade. With time, yes, but it will all biodegrade. So the next step with candles is actually going to be making another size. So these are 6 ounces, right? My bigger candle would be 12 ounces of all of the same scents, but those would be $23, and that I felt comfortable with. And speaking about more products, I'm going to show you the last thing that I got, which is honestly the most exciting for me and one of the things that I've wanted to do since I started my business. So just as a little synopsis about my business, I first started as Genesis Star Studio and I was crochet only. Then I switched to Genesis Apparel Shop and I wanted to do more crochet pieces, yes, but I also wanted to do more sewing. And now I am Lucky Star Co. / Lucky Star Collective. I mostly call it Co. And now I make candles. And so with being Lucky Star Co., I want to do something that I've wanted to do from the very beginning, which is make stationery. And one of the first things that I wanted to do, the very first thing, was make postcards. But I'm still getting there, okay? Still getting there. So the second thing I wanted to do was make bookmarks. I love books, okay? And so I made 3 different designs. They're right here. We're gonna open them up. I made 3 different designs as prototypes. The lowest quantity you can order from Vistaprint is 5 bookmarks each. I already checked these. They turned out wonderful, okay? So I'm gonna be ordering more of these in the future, but I wanted to do bookmarks because I not only want to do candles right, I want to expand my business and do all of the art things that I've been wanting to do. Like I want to get into polymer clay. I want to create art and do like keychains and stuff. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But just to name the products that I want to do. So for like home and self, I want to do candles. We'll continue doing. I want to make sleep masks. I want to make little makeup / travel pouches and hair clips. And for the stationery, I want to do the postcards. Like I said, I am currently doing the bookmarks. I'll show you these in a second. I want to do washi tape, stickers, keychains, and notepads. And for the keychains, I want to do the acrylic ones, you know, that have like they're like shiny on them. And I also want to do the polymer clay. So those are my goals to like make all of that stuff this year. I planned it out the other day of when I'm going to release all of that stuff. I'm going to do like stationery drops. And so I have like a bunch of stationery products in one drop and it's just for stationery. But we'll get there when we get there. Those are all the things that I want to do. And the reason I want to do that is because it expresses my creativity in a different way that I've really been craving. So 2024 has definitely been a year for me to trying to figure out who I am and being comfortable with who I am and being comfortable being different, because I feel like that's just been like a big sore spot for me in my life where I've always been different and I feel like I'm like been very resistant to it. I haven't wanted to be, but then I don't feel happy with myself and I'm like, what am I doing this for? I'm, you know, YOLO, you only live once. If you believe that, but it's the philosophy of just like live your life. And I feel like when I'm not being true and authentic to myself, i.e. the way I dress, how the color of my hair, the art I create and the way I choose to express myself, it just makes me sad. So yeah, I'm doing all of this for other people as well, but I'm mainly doing all of this for me. I like all of this stuff. This is all really fun and cool for me. And I like how all of it looks and all of that, but I know that there are people out there who are just like me, who like all of this stuff, who will feel connected to it the way that I do. Again, social media, just need to find that audience to be able to connect with them, to be able to show them like, hey, I have things that you would probably like. And I know that because, you know, we're alike. Anyways. And I'm moving away from sewing clothing, which is what I went to school for, which is kind of a sore spot because I'm like, I went to school for this. I should be making clothing. But the thing is, clothing just takes so long to sew and so long to design. And if I'm being honest, in the whole clothing process, ow, I just hit my fingers. But in the whole clothing process, I am a designer. I am not a sewer. I can sew. Don't get it twisted. I can sew, but I like to sew smaller projects rather than taking 8 hours to make one thing. That is not really my vibe. I like to sew fast and I like to sew well. And I feel like I do that on smaller projects, on things that aren't clothing. And that leads me into talking about something that has also been like a really sore spot that I haven't wanted to talk about on my channel or really anywhere, because I don't really know even now how to process it. But a couple months back, I did get fired from a clothing alterations job and I was really disappointed in myself and I was blaming myself all of this and that, but truly the reason I got fired from that job is because I wasn't able to show up to work. And I wasn't able to show up to work because I have been, since I started my business, and the main reason I started my business is because I have a lot of physical health issues. I have a liver disease that is still heavily affecting me to this day, and it's a very common liver disease. And the thing that is happening to me, I don't want to get like too into it, but is one of the rarer side effects. And I recently had to switch doctors because my other doctor was just kind of being like, well, you're taking this medication to do that, and that should be fine. But I'm still having pain every day. And it does a lot with food. And I have a lot of intolerances to a lot of things. Like I can't eat squash. I can't eat dairy, which is a really big one. I can't eat gluten, and I can't eat just like some herbs and stuff like that. Sometimes random things will just hurt me and I don't know why. And that only started, I'm 23 years old now. That only started when I was around 17 or 18. And the first symptoms of not being able to eat something, which was dairy, started after an extremely stressful period in my life. And every time I get stressed, I find something else that I can't eat. Like I got really stressed when I was around like 22 years old. Yeah, literally last year. In 2023, I got really, really stressed. And then because of school. And then my physical health started to tank because of that stress. And that's what started this whole thing with finding out I have a liver disease and being in all this pain. And so I can't work a high stress job, period, because it physically brings me pain because stress equals physical pain for me for some reason. But also I have to be extremely cautious about what I eat, and that stresses me out. I can't do too many strenuous things like stretching my body in certain ways or carrying too much weight, because then I physically feel it in my liver. It's just a lot of things that I haven't been able to figure out with doctors, and I've told doctors that I've been to with this, and they're like, oh, it's this, and this. And then I get tested for all of that. I go through all of these like machines and CAT scans and all this stuff, and then everything turns out fine. And so I have been really scared to say this on the internet because I feel like a fraud. And I don't know why I feel like a fraud, because this is something that happens to me every single day. This is pain that I feel every single day, and it is real. And it is the reason why I can't work. But it's also the reason why I started my business. And so I don't know why I'm so afraid to say that. It's just a really sore spot for me. Like I started my business because I was extremely like depressed. I was very stressed out, and I needed an outlet to express myself. I needed an outlet to think about something else and to make me feel better, to stop thinking about all the things going on in my head, to stop thinking about the physical pain that I'm having. And I needed something else to work on. I needed something else to occupy my mind, and that was crochet. And now it's creating art and making other people feel better when I don't feel the best. And so that's why I want to move into stationery. I want to draw more. I want to get better at the skills that I've always wanted to get better at my entire life. I want to better myself. I want to grow as a person. Even though I have this physical pain and I have this disease that I can't like quite figure out just yet, I want to be able to feel happy in my day in and day out life. I want to be able to share the joy that I do have for life and inside of me with other people, and not think about my pain all of the time, and not think about how I can't work a regular job, and not think about how all of this other stuff. Because doing all of this doesn't stress me out. Sometimes it's like that little ping of stress, but it really doesn't. It brings me so much joy. It brings me so much joy. And whenever, I do feel really stressed out, like I said, I feel that pain in my liver, but this doesn't stress me out. This brings me, like I just said, so much joy. And it feels like in some ways that it's just like healed me, and it's like physically healed me, even though it, technically it hasn't, but it feels like it has, because I'm in so much less pain, because I'm not as stressed out as I was. And like in school, I was stressed out like 24/7, school, college. If you do, like, it's just like homework, and it's like this after this after this after this, and it just piles up, and you're just like, I felt like I was constantly in a rat race. I was constantly on the little hamster wheel going at full speed all the time. And then it was finally when break hit, Like, I was still going at full speed because you had all these family things to do. And if I was working on a sewing project, I had to get that done over break. And so I never felt like, until summer break time, I had a moment to breathe. And that was really taxing on me. I could go into my liver disease and my pain and my hypothesis of a lot of things. I could, you know, go into it more, but just as like a little short thing, that's why I do what I do, and because of the way that I physically feel. And I feel like I might have to get a part-time job soon, which scares me because if it's physically demanding or emotionally taxing, then I could spiral again into this pain and then end up having to quit because I'm not getting fired again. Let's just put that out there. I'm going to quit. But again, I can't just work a job for 3-4 months and then quit and then get another job and then quit. You know what I mean? I need to figure my stuff out. I need to figure out, you know, what works best for me. And right now, working on my art, working on my business, and waiting to be able to go to doctor's appointments works best for me. Not the waiting to go to doctor's appointments, but working on my business and working on my passion, that is what works best for me right now. Okay, so let me show you these freaking bookmarks that I made. And by the way, everything I make, every single thing I make in Canva. Canva, praise. I pay for Canva Premium because it is just that valuable to me. Like, it is literally just that fucking valuable. Okay, so the first bookmark that I ever made was this one. So on the front of the bookmarks, they are glossy, and on the back, they are matte. So if you prefer one to the other, then you have both. But it says, I'm in love with this book. And it just has a little gingham background with some watercolor hearts on it with some cute text, and then my logo down at the bottom. I made this because I was wanting to do a bundle with like a candle and then a bookmark and then maybe something else to do like a book bundle for Valentine's Day. But mostly because when I read books that I really like them, I'm like, I'm so in love with this book. I love this book. The bookmark, to say so. The next bookmark is this one. It's called Growing Into Myself. I love this one. I actually drew this little apple with the worm coming out of it. It was based off of a design I saw on Canva. And I was like, well, I can't just use that artist's, you know, drawing. I'm gonna have to draw my own. So I did draw my own. I drew it on Adobe Fresco, I think. It's a free app that works wonders. It's great. I'm able to draw on my iPad. I love it. So this is that. And then it has a little gingham background. It has stars that I just layered on top of one another. You know, I just made one smaller than my little logo. This one is probably my favorite because I feel like I'm constantly doing that. I'm growing into myself all the time. And I'm just a little caterpillar and I need my nutrients. And so I need to eat up. And if you haven't noticed, I don't think you probably, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I really like apples. Like everywhere you look, you either see stars, you see apples, or you see the 4-leaf clover. Like on the back of this, there's stars. Those are like my main symbols for my brand are stars because lucky star. But how does that star get lucky? It wishes on a 4-leaf clover. And I just like apples, okay? Apples, when you look up the metaphysical meaning of them, they're like connecting with your ancestors. Apples in general are just like sweet, and that's the kind of person I want to be, is a sweet apple. And I just feel like it goes really well. And this is a random like marketing thing that I feel like is just really weird, but I love Lana Del Rey. And when you think of Lana Del Rey, okay, at least I think of old money. I think of sugar daddies. I think of the beach, and I think of cherries, which is very interesting to me, the very last one. And so taking, you know, something from her playbook, like when you think of Lana Del Rey, you think of cherries. Isn't that so weird? So when you think of Lucky Starco, if you don't think of stars, if you don't think of 4-leaf clovers, you think of apples. And apples, I feel like, are just lucky. So, and the last one, which is my second favorite because it is based off my business card. Here it is. My business card, these are all embossed. You couldn't do that on the bookmarks, or I would have, because that business card, gorgeous. I'm gonna show you this side because it's less glaring, but it's based off of my business card because I love that business card. I added a new star, that little star that I added, that like I drew onto here. So I added a star that looked like that into this just to kind of like tie them together if I'm releasing these all at the same time. Also just to like take up some blank space because this was such a like smaller area, like more anyways, than my business card was. So this is based off of my business card, which I will show you. Which, by the way, can you guess where my business cards are from? Vistaprint. Vistaprint. They're from Vistaprint. I have ordered business cards from Canva in the past, and they just don't have the options like Vistaprint does, okay? Vistaprint is just like king, okay? So these are my business cards. I've showed them in another video, but see how they're embossed and the background is that matte background, but everything else is glossy? Yeah, it slays, okay? It slays. This is the background. See, again, apples to tie it all in. And this is just the back. It just gives them my information and then a QR code and whatever. And my name. So yeah, look at that. Wow. I love these. These are the best business cards I've ever gotten just because of the embossing effect. Literally just because of the embossing effect. But that's what this is based off of. If you stuck around for this long, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I believe in what I'm doing, and hopefully I can give some insight to people who are trying to do the same thing and are in the same boat as me, which is the boat rowing to somewhere, hopefully to success, but haven't quite reached it yet. But I'm still chugging along, I'm still doing what I'm doing because it's my passion. This is what I love to do. So, just to go over my goals for the year, okay? I want to make a living off of my business. Again, so I don't have to go and get that part-time job, so I can keep doing my passion, so I can keep doing this. I want to make a living off of my business. That is truly my goal. Then I want to create art that feels authentic to me. I think I've mentioned this, but like in the past, I feel like I've just been creating things that other people wanted, and I was so afraid to be myself and express myself that came out in my art. I just wasn't being true to myself, and I feel like when you're true to yourself, you get more out of it, at least for yourself, and maybe even, you know, business-wise, hopefully business-wise too and sales-wise. But personally, I get more out of it when I'm more true to myself. So I need to create more art that feels authentic to me. And all the things that I showed you today is more authentic to me. That's even why I changed my name from Genesis Apparel Shop. One, that's a mouthful, okay? But that is the main reason why I changed my name to Lucky Star Co. I had been thinking about it for months. I thought about it even before I changed my name to Genesis Apparel Shop. I was like, I should just call my business Lucky Star because I feel like a lucky star with all of my medical issues and the fact that I am still here today. Like, I feel like a lucky star. And I just like, this life that I live is such a blessed life. I feel like a lucky star. And so I was like, why don't I name my business that? But it was that fear of not conforming to what everybody else does and that fear of being myself. And then finally I just said, fuck it, and renamed everything. And that is when I first got, when I went into all the business things that I actually needed to run a business, like all of the federal and state things, and everywhere in there is Lucky Star Co, Lucky Star Co, Lucky Star Collective, like it's all of that. So, and then my last goal is to do in-person events and to sell at storefronts. So in-person events, I did one this year. It was an outdoor event. It was definitely a bust. You can go and watch that video. It's the Noblesville pop-up, holiday pop-up. It was definitely a bust. My spot was bad. The weather was bad. I talk about all of that in that video. So if you want to watch that, then that will be linked down below. That will be probably linked here on the screen somewhere. Hopefully, if I can figure that out. But I want to do more in-person events. I want to interact with people because I love interacting with people about my products and everything. And I want to just because that's also the best way to get feedback. You know, I was debating whether or not to make my candle prices lower. I'm like, I don't know. And then I just kept hearing it and I was like, this is my sign to like make them even lower. Maybe people will still think that $18 is too high, but that is what I'm comfortable with. Moving on from that. Yeah, I just want to do more in-person events. I want to interact with people. I want to get the feedback. I want to sell in person and have that interaction. But I also want to do storefront sales. Like, I want to be able to make money and not have to be there. So I want to be able to do, I think it's called a consignment shop, but you know, you set up your own little booth in a shop that has a bunch of other businesses in it and you just sell things. I want to be able to make my products and put them out there, but not have to be there to physically sell them. That is definitely a goal, because my main goal is to blow up, and then you know what that fine. Anyways, my main goal with my business, okay, far into the future, maybe tomorrow, but my goal with my business is to run a storefront, is to have employees that help make my products. And I am a lifestyle brand that has a storefront, that has many storefronts, and I am successful. That is my main goal. My main goal is to have a storefront. By when? I don't know when. I have to get to some level of success before I even start thinking about a storefront. But that is my end goal, is to have a storefront. And then from there, grow that storefront to be able to have multiple shops and everything like that. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching for this long. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I love talking. I've actually been talking for like 55 minutes now. Hopefully this video is not that long. And I'm trying to get more consistent about posting on YouTube as well. I love YouTube. It's been one of my passions since I was a little kid. And I'm just really appreciative of everyone watching my videos, of everyone commenting and liking them. It really helps me out. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. And I want to keep trucking along. I want to keep doing what I'm doing and be successful at it. So, yeah. I'll see you all in the next one. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, bye.